Hello, this is Friendly Cat, and I have something pretty unusual for us today. So, about a month ago, I did From Tehran with Love, and by June 1941, we'd effectively completed the run and we're ready to hit speed 5 all the way up to 1945 to complete. But what I've done here today is I've forked that, or I took a copy of the save game when the run was pretty much complete in 1941, and the Hungry Nexus event, and we're going to use that save game to go off to complete the 3 other Iran achievements, and then Graveyard of Empires, and that's Sikh. And for those who aren't familiar with how to find a copy of your save game for Iron Man, this is a page from the wiki. Alright, so let's get started, shall we? Let's do a recap of where we are. Again, if you haven't seen this, I'll leave a link to the description for the first part of this run down below. But by June 1941, we have pretty much completed the run. We're just kind of finishing off Japan. We passed the point of failure, and we've got this Hungry Nexus event, where From Tehran with Love, we'll say they can have it, or else what? But for us, we're going to choose the other path and let them take that land. That means Hungary will not go to war with us. This is what our factories look like. Looking really good. We've got lots of factories, lots of production, and our research. In this case, we're headed towards submarines, paratroopers, transport planes, and landing craft, all of which are focused on making sure we can eventually get into the UK. And the transports and paratroopers are a backup plan in case we can't make our naval landing. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing here is declaring war on China. And part of that is to get more manpower. We want to eventually take over the Allies, so we need as much land as possible. We want to make sure we take secure French West Asia, before we join the Allies, because otherwise we'll get a bypass on that focus, and we want that to use that focus to actually go to war with France later. All right, here we are. Japan has finally declared war on the UK and United States, so let's join the Allies and take over. Oh, we cannot take over the faction. We don't have enough manpower. Okay, we're kind of on the clock here because UK wants to kick us out because we've generated so much world tension. So let's quickly convert some troops so we have more manpower in the field. After all, we have about 2 million manpower sitting in reserve. And okay, cool. Now we meet the manpower requirements, so let's take over the faction. Yes, we now control the Allies, and we control our destiny. So the first thing first, let's go and call everyone to arms. They're already at war with Japan, but I want to call them at war against China, so when I kick them out, they do not join the Chinese faction. We don't want to have to deal with them as well, particularly since Japan has so much war score against China. And with that resolved, let's go ahead and take a look at kicking France out. And since we took that earlier focus against French West Asia, we can now immediately declare war on their puppets, Syria, and that will automatically drag in France as well. And they really haven't had much time to repopulate the Maginot or redefend the Maginot. So let's just walk across the Maginot and let's get some naval invasion. This may seem a little bit cheeky, but really France can't hold us off anyway. So with just a few moments, we have capitulated France. We will take their navy and we'll take their land. Very well done, I think so. And with our navy, it's going to be that much easier to eventually naval invade the UK, which is why we're doing it in this direction. Now let's kick the UK out. The UK will actually form its own faction. But they really don't have anyone else that can help them along the way. Let's check out the Justify War Goal. We also want to take a look at the truce because they do have a truce. So unlike France, we don't have a very easy way to get a war goal on standby, but no big deal. Wait for the truce to run out, declare on them, cross the channel, and even if they had troops here, it really isn't going to stop us. Some of you may kind of recognize this map from my guide to naval invasions. There's just nobody at home, and so we'll quickly, and we've got 24 Marines anyway, so we will capitulate them and take quite a bit of land. And okay, now it's ready to get rid of China. We've been holding China just to kind of keep things under control. Japan, of course, has most of the war score, so they are able to puppet China. So let's invade Japan. They don't have much anyone at home. And that may be kind of feeling why I don't have a problem forking this save game, because so many of the enemies don't have a lot of troops. And after we invade Japan, let's prepare to go after the United States. Let's kick them out, monitor the truce time, and go ahead and start justifying on them. After Japan capitulates, we do need to capitulate China as their puppet because they are a major, when we will take everything in the war score. We were already past the point of failure, and now we're just rolling really quickly. United States in 1942 has a bit of strength, but with 800 plus factories and so many resources. This war ends in San Diego. All right, United States taken out. We don't need them for achievements, but I just like to keep them from causing problems later. We're going to kick out Greece next, and then go ahead and take one of our focuses. It's actually at one point was a hidden focus. Now it's not, called Clash of the Titans, which lets us then declare on Greece. Norway has decided to guarantee Greece. Not sure that's the best choice for them because we are now pushing again 1,000 factories. So we'll quickly capitulate Greece and then take all of their lands in the peace conference and their ships as if we needed them. And then let's go ahead and take out Norway. We will also capitulate them and then annex all of their lands as well. They couldn't really stop our troops by any means. On to Saudi Arabia. Now we've inherited, when we took over the Allies, we inherited their democratic faction. So we need to kick everyone else out of the faction and then disband the faction if we want to declare war, or justify war, I should say, on any country that has not already generated world tension. And one of the reasons we were able to justify in both the UK and United States because they had generated tension, but because Saudi Arabia has not, let's disband the faction, wait a day for the game to kind of update the status of me being factionless, and let's justify on Saudi Arabia and quickly obliterate them with motorized divisions. All right, who do you think is next? That's right, if you were guessing Yemen, you would be right. Just very quickly, I'm starting to run suboptimal invasions, just taking it easy, not even building factories as we just quickly finish this run out. Next up is Afghanistan. We had a pending war goal from an earlier focus, and with fighters and cast all over, we can quickly capitulate Afghanistan. Now, meanwhile, don't forget to be building factories, mills at the very least, and probably civs too, in Khalistan in anticipation of that's Sikh, because later on when we take that land and play it for ourselves, we would like them to have some factories. I think that Portugal's ownership of Goa meant that we did have to take them out. I'm not sure if that's not how it is, then you don't have to take them out, but I took them out to be safe. I'd already completed the achievement, so I can't tell for certain, but it did look like that they owned land that was India's cores. We're also going to need to take out Libya for just a few more states that we need for the last of the Iran achievements. And now, let's go ahead and prepare for our last little run. So let's start destroying our divisions, and then we're going to go to no garrison so we can prepare for that's Sikh. We also want to eliminate our core states that are far away from our central. So since I had cored Turkey earlier, the only way I know to get rid of a core is to actually release it. I'll delete any divisions other than the ones that I really plan to use, and then I guess not destroy, but stop the production of the factories, and then try to burn a bunch of political power. I'm not sure if this really is necessary, but I'm just going to do it just because, to run them out of political power. And then this is very important, destroy all of your supply, all of your infantry weapons, your stockpile. Then when you're ready, go ahead and play as Khalistan. All right, because now Persia or Iran is very weak. So let's start all of our factories on infantry weapons, because that's all we'll be needing. And then we're going to make 12, 2 with cavalry. You can make 8, you can make 16. I mean, you can make whatever you feels for you, but 12 seems just about right for what I need. And then we will justify. We have a claim, so that gives us a pretty fast justification, just to 65 days. So let's fire that up. And then once that completes, we need to simply race around into Persia and take their cores to capitulate them. They're still dealing with that garrison, because they do have to garrison, but they don't have a stockpile, so they shouldn't be able to make very many troops. And if you see any, just run around them. We do need to individually control our cavalry, because we do kind of move quickly because they have 1,000 factories, but with a little bit of effort and a little bit of micro, this is one of the easiest wars you'll ever fight. And with that, we've now capitulated the Great Persian Empire, Iran, and now we own all of the states in India, or the original states of India. Now, I think for the achievement of that Sikh, we just need to control those states. We do not need to own them, but this is, I think, a pretty easy way to get control of all of the states. So we've now completed that Sikh. We've completed Graveyard of Empires, and then the other 3 Iran achievements. Well, it was a lot of fun for me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave below. Thank you very much for watching.